Hey there, we're so grateful that you're with us on another episode of The Charging Station, our midweek opportunity for you to come in and just be recharged in your spirit. Now, I'm excited about this one because this is part of our episode or segment of This Is Us, and I have got a special guest with me tonight. We have Kimberly Williamson on the mic with us. It was so grateful to see you, Kimberly. Thank you for being with us of this episode.
Thank you for having me, Pastor.
I know that you are, really, let's just be real. You are the better half of the Bobby Kimberly show that goes on at Bay Harbor. He's the one that's on stage all the time. Come on, we can admit that, can't we?
He is on stage all the time. Yes.
But, you're the one that, in all seriousness, there's a lot that you do that doesn't often get recognized. And so we're just going to have a conversation and see where the Lord leads because we want to know just a little bit more about you. So,
how much time do we have?
Plenty of time.
Okay.
Start out. Tell us just a little bit about some of your roles here that you play at Bay Harbor.
So, first and foremost, I am Bobby's wife, and I'm a mom. And so I also serve as the bridge leader. I work with the 5th and 6th graders, which is my current passion.
Yeah.
I love that age. And we've been working with youth for, I believe, a little over 15 years.
That is hard to believe. And when you say that, you're passionate about the bridge, I have seen that in action, and what a wonderful job that you do for that particular age group. And then also as Sister Willie to the youth group back in the day.
That name stuck, yes.
And all of that. But now there is something that I have also heard about you.
Okay.
I have heard that with just what you described, that there is a Wonder Woman element that goes along with that too.
Well,
that they don't know how you do it.
So I, but God, or with God, that's how I do it.
I love it.
With God.
That right there shook you a little bit because you're not very comfortable with that. But,
right.
But what's the motivation? Why? Why do you do it? Because I know you don't like talking about this part, but I hear it from your husband that there are many, many nights that you're up extremely late preparing everything with excellence. You work a full-time job. You've got 3 rugrats running around the house, plus the husband, and everything else that y'all got going on.
So I shared with you recently. I was going through things, and I found a treasure, which was the first Bible that I read through.
Yeah.
And I opened it up because it's always interesting to look back to see your notes and what you highlighted and underlined. And the first note that I came to was my writing. I wrote, "If you will, he will."
Ooh.
And so ultimately, that's my motivation and my inspiration with everything, even this right now, because I'm typically I don't know if I can do that, don't know if I want to do that, and constantly, if you will, he will.
Yeah.
So here I am.
And once again, just being obedient. And what I have seen is when you do take those steps out of faith, that God really, really moves and uses you in an incredible way. But you could, I'm sure there's times where it would be easy for you to say, yeah, I'm just not feeling that today. Not something I want to do, but yet you still do it.
Absolutely. So, I heard a wise person one time say that when you step out, when you're in front of that group in that moment, you are on stage.
Yeah.
And so, not that it's fake or planned or, but you're on stage for God, really. And so that's who I am. Even if I'm not feeling like it, if I had a bad day, the kids have been a little frustrating that morning. I still put a smile on my face, somehow pull out the energy that may or may not be there and move forward.
Yeah. And some people say, I'm not comfortable with that because that just seems fake, but I never see it that way. There are things that we have got to do, and I call it faithing, not faking, because there are those moments where we just have to move on. And when we do, I have found an extra strength that lies that I didn't see before.
Right. And so sometimes we're nervous about stepping out because we don't feel capable of doing it or our confidence level. And even when I started teaching years ago, I had sent you an email because I knew there was a position available. And I remember in that email, I wrote that there's many people who could do a better job than me, but
Yeah.
there would be nobody that tried as hard as me.
Oh, I remember that email. I may still have it and that conversation. And thank you for however long that's been for you fulfilling the word that you said, because that you have done just exactly what you said. There will always be more people that are qualified as far as I'm concerned. When I look at my roles and what I do, there's
Hmm.
always somebody that's going to be more qualified. But is this what God has called me to? And that's
Right.
what I look at.
Absolutely. And so with everything, I found that I'm almost like a glutton for punishment. Like I'm always trying to do bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I am motivated by a challenge,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever that might be.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, let's just shift gears a little bit because we want to know more about Kimberly Ann Gordon Williamson. I don't even, what is your middle name?
Anne.
It
It is
is.
Anne. It is Anne.
It is
It is
so,
Anne.
that is so cool. I'm gonna give myself a hand for that one. So, why don't we use our middle names? What would happen if we just all started calling you Ann?
Oh, please
And
don't.
I was Richard.
I like Kimberly much better.
I'll take John and go with it. I guess it's what we're more familiar with. But tell us a little bit about your backstory. Where were you raised and all of that? I think we've got a high school picture.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. We don't. But
Where did you pull that one from? There's no telling. So, oh goodness. So, my family, my mom's family, they South Georgia farmers. My dad's family, I didn't know a lot of my dad's family. So my grandmother, who's still a very special person in my life, she turned 90, and so she'll be 91 this August.
wow.
And so she's really all I have left with my dad's family. But my mom's family, they were who I was closer to. So Georgia was home.
Uh-huh.
But I've lived a lot of different places. So I've traveled a good bit growing up. And around the age of, I don't know, 15, 16, 15, I think, I had foster parents.
Huh.
And so, anyway, it was a difficult part of my life. But God has opened a door. Like looking back, every single step of the way, God has opened a door. He has constantly been a part of the picture.
Yeah. And I didn't know that you were going to share that. And I really appreciate you opening up. And because I think that for a lot of the viewers, a lot of people that listen to these podcasts and watch us, they see you. They see you coming in, they see you going out, they see the different roles that you play, and they think, man, she's got it all together. She's had this life, all this, and that we don't really know what people are going through and what people are facing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You never know. We all, from day to day, we all have different challenges. It's just how we respond to those challenges that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
We had an activity this past weekend where I gave the kids a lollipop. And I told them it's a summer insane adventure each week. And I gave them a lollipop and a rock. And their adventure was they had to put a lollipop in their mouth, which they're all excited about, and then a rock in their shoe. And they had to walk a good ways, turn around and come back. And so when they came back, they all asked me, or I asked all of them, I said, how did you like your adventure? Tell me a little bit about your adventure. And they all talked about the rock. The rock hurt. That was insane. This was silly. And then I said, well, okay, but how about the lollipop? Because our life is a lot like that. It's lollipops and rocks all the time, but it's our focus. Where is our focus? Are we so consumed with the rock that we miss out on the lollipop?
Ooh.
So.
You go, girl. That right there was good. Because, I'm wondering where you're going with this, but that is it. So are you who are listening to this, are you more focused on the rock than you are on the lollipop? Wow.
Most definitely.
That's deep. So that right there is just a snippet of what our 5th and 6th graders get every single week. And we're so grateful for you because you have been through those times in your life.
I have, absolutely. And the word was my hope. and my joy.
Yeah.
And I started at a very young age reading. And I don't know exactly how old I was, but I know I was very young. And before I graduated high school, I had read my Bible through.
But Kimberly, with that, and I want to go somewhere with that right there, just as a segue. And I hope it's not too much for me to share. But you mentioned that recently you sent me a picture of that Bible, and
Mm.
and I got the actual message before I saw the picture. That I found the Bible, the first Bible that I read through, and I was really thinking that maybe this is like a cartoon book or something like that. But it was a straight up Bible.
It was a big Bible.
And,
It was
and, and at that age, you're reading it through. Was it something that your parents kind of inspired you to do?
absolutely not. No. So
Really?
yes. So going to church, and I'm still. I never attend a Winterfest or a youth event where I'm not in awe, because to me it's just so amazing, because I didn't have that growing up. I grew up in a church where I was that student that was always trying to get the teacher off tangent because I was bored.
The rabbit trail.
The rabbit trail
Yeah.
student. But anyways, so I knew from a very young age that there was something bigger. There was someone bigger. There was a right and a wrong. I felt it very early in my life. And so I started, just out of curiosity, I started reading. And I didn't have, growing up, I did grow up on a farm. So we had a TV in the house. We didn't have cell phones until in my age. But we, until after I finished college, when I got my first cell phone.
Yeah.
But so reading, when the at night when the sun went down, there wasn't anything to do, so I read. And
Was it by candlelight?
no, no, it wasn't candlelight.
Sorry.
But I did. I enjoyed reading the Word. But I had a King James version of the Bible, which was really difficult to understand.
Yeah.
And so when I was 15 when I started working, and minimum wage was a little over $4 an hour. So it took me a long time to save up the money for that Bible. But I bought this Bible that had a concordance at the bottom. So I would read the top and I would read the bottom to understand what the top said. And but that was my first Bible.
But there's nobody telling you to do this.
No. Mm-mm. And so my first experience, and this is one of my favorite stories to share with the students, because I always tell them, I'm like, I don't have to beg you to believe. I don't have to. Nothing I say is going to make you believe. God will do that Himself. And but at a very young age, I remember probably the deepest prayer I've ever said, because I would get down. My parents, I feel confident saying this, but my parents fought a lot, and so there's a lot of difficulties or challenges growing up, and so that forced me to turn to prayer. I spent a lot of my childhood beside my bed on my knees in prayer with the door closed when no one's seen it. Mm. And that, but there was one night particularly, my parents was, I'm thankful, but my biological parents, they were pretty strict on me. And so I wasn't allowed to spend the night with even my cousins. I mean, I had very strict boundaries. And I remember one night, it was a deep prayer. I got down on my knees beside my bed and I prayed probably the deepest prayer I've ever said. It just went something like this: God, I'm bored. That's what it said.
Bored.
I'm bored.
Okay.
It was a Friday night. I was bored. And anyways, within moments, and it was the phones that were still connected to the wall, because your parents answered downstairs and they yelled for you that the phone was for you type deal.
Yep.
And the phone rung, and I was like, okay, God, that was quick. And anyway, it was a random thing, a silly thing, but without a doubt, God heard my prayer, and it never happened again. It was a completely, like, I don't know. There's no coincidence in that situation. It was definitely God.
Yeah.
That he opened up an avenue, and my parents, even the fact that even when I was asked to do something, I was thinking my parents is never going to allow this to happen. And the fact that they said yes in that moment, there was no other explanation but God. So I knew without a doubt that God heard my prayer. That was the first one that I remember.
At a young age.
At a young age.
And so I'm going to put you on the spot. with that, because it's really really powerful, and you're setting this up. We haven't planned any of this. Don't even know where we're going from
No.
here.
So,
But the beauty of it is I'm seeing the power of the word. I'm seeing the power of prayer.
hmm
How does that continue today?
so, um, I mean, oh, like, every minute of my day, like when I'm in the car, when I'm, at, at sitting at the table, doesn't matter where I'm at. There's always in my mind of, okay, God, what now? What
Yeah.
do what are you doing now? I can't. Uh, yeah, like
I mean, I know you're married to Pastor Bobby, so I mean, there's got to have a lot of prayer,
a lot of prayer. Yes,
a lot of prayer right there. I
yes,
know, but still, and I think that this is important not only for the students that might be listening, and we hope that you are, if you're part of the bridge, that you'll just give a shout out during this, but also to the bridge parents and to the youth parents and to the Bay Harbor family. It is the importance, because obviously God knew that you needed a foundation during that time of your life. And so that had to be what helped pull you through difficult rock in the shoe times, that you had.
absolutely, yes. And even in that Bible, July 31st, 1995 is the day I received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And I was not in a church. I was actually at my friend's house. And it was so important to me that, not that it should take anyone this long, but I had some friends who were Christian girls, and they knew how important it was for me to experience that. And so we started praying about, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock one night, and it was like 1 in the morning when it finally happened. But it was the most amazing thing. And so the next day I was on cloud nine, so to say.
So okay. I mean, this is just
It's just
amazing to me, because it's not what we would say a traditional experience that you've had with God. Because, and I really, Kimberly, I know I've already said this once, but I really didn't know where this is. I wanted to know more about you, and here it is. What I'm seeing is God's been, his fingerprints have been all over your life from an
all
early
over.
age.
Yes.
And so not necessarily raised in a Christian home or a church home or something. You know, a lot of people go to church, but that doesn't mean that you're still raised in a Christian home. But you didn't have someone that was forcing any of this on you. Would probably be a better way of saying it.
Right. And exact, it was the opposite, because I do my I would be wrongful for not pointing out that my mom is she's strong in her faith.
Mhm.
That she growing up, and in fact that might have been some of the fuel to the arguments and the hardships, was because my mom was strong in her faith, and I always looked up to her for that.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really, finding out for myself what all this is, is this. I mean, God has proven time and time again that He is very real, and He will always, anything is possible.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so, we don't have that much longer, but I want to hit you with this question. What is Kimberly passionate about today, right now?
Jesus.
Come on now.
That's the truth. That's the truth, because He truly is my best friend. And that, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I don't have a lot of best friends. Like, I have really good friends and great people in my life. God has truly blessed me. But He is who I am passionate about.
Phew. I don't know if you feel it, but I feel it. And that same paraclete, that close one that you experienced on July 31st, 1995, is here right now with us in this conversation.
So that I want I want all of my family to go to heaven. And I want this world to turn to Him.
Yeah.
So that's my passion.
Well, it is real, and it is deep, and we know that if Kimberly was not here,
Hmm.
what would you want the world to know about Kimberly?
That's a big question.
That's a deep one because I didn't prepare you for it. It's out there, but yeah,
That God is always good and He is always there. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing ahead, um, I think it comes down to if you will, He will. No excuses.
and that is what you said at the very beginning of this conversation. That if you will, he will.
So trust Him in everything, and He will make a way.
And that's basically what you're saying when you make that comment.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed this time together, and we could go on forever and ever and ever, learning more about you. And I think a good summary for me, as I try to maybe recap this, is the fact that here you are, that God began to pull on your heart at a young age, getting you into the Word, getting you into prayer, filling you with His Spirit. And these are all really spiritual goals, so to speak, or experiences that we want people to have. And it's not just preacher talk. And even the passion. What are you passionate? I'm passionate about Jesus. Well, that's real because that's
Hmm.
where you are. But there's been some rocks in your shoes,
Hmm.
and there's been times where the lollipop has been in your mouth, and
Yes.
yet you're still talking about the goodness of God because you've experienced Him.
Absolutely.
We hope that just by watching this, that you have learned not only a little bit more about Kimberly, who by the way was valedictorian of her school, and I always give that to her because I'm proud of her. But we hope that you see that sometimes when you walk past someone and you think that they've got it all together, that you really don't know a lot of their backstory.
Amen.
And so now you know a little bit more about Kimberly, and also I hope, and I'm sure it's her desire as well, that you know a little bit more about Jesus, because he's always there. He's always good, even if we don't think He's good. He's always good, and he's always present, and He loves us. We'll give you the last word.
Keep moving forward. So, in spite of everything that's ahead of us, whatever's to come, keep pressing into Jesus and hang on.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to you being with us again. God bless you.